So the doership plus desire creates the attachment. Yuktah karma phalam tyaktva shantim apnoti nashtikim. Ayuktah kamakarena phale sakto nibadhyate. So what is he saying? That only when you desire is when you get uh, attached, right? Bandhan. The person of unsteady mind and desiring heart will surely get bound. Ni badhyate, nishchita badhyate. But the one who is yuktah karam phalam tyaktva, he gets shanti. So when you are not worried about uh, the results and all, this could be anything. Maybe just don't care. Hey, I did my best. Some students will go to exam. Itna hi hua, boss. Whatever. You go. What can you do? Or you do so good. You are so good at your work that you are not even worried because you know, yeah, I can handle it. Or there will be something that you say, hey, if there is something beyond my control that happens, what can you do? Tsunami came. A lot of people in Thailand died, and all over, Andaman Islands and all. Who could have thought? What can you do? Nothing. Those who survived after that also they had to accept it. You can have grudge or whatever, but that's it. So when you don't expect anything, then you have shanti. Now the inner revolution or change that we need to bring. So we know that action can be binding or liberating. So the action itself is not the problem. It is how you handle it, how you do it, with what mindset you do. That is what will cause the binding or the liberation. Right? Now, if we sometimes think that we are the instruments of a larger purpose, for example, your workplace, your employer sends you out somewhere else as representing. So I don't know which all, where all you work, but assume that your company, and I have been in IT, so I can give you an example of IT. So there is, you go to a college for, recruitment. Now you are representing a team of 5 people goes representing this big company and go to the college. When you have been given this extra duty that you represent the whole company, all of a sudden there is a different sense of purpose. In the company, you might be, behaving like an ordinary guy. You talk bad also sometimes. You whatever you do, but as soon as you're outside, you're like all of a sudden, oh, anything I do is reflecting on me as a I am representing the company. All of a sudden you will feel that your efforts, your karma, your way of doing, all of a sudden is of better quality, right? Which means that if we are in a small selfish shell of our own, that's it, me, nothing else, nobody is related, connected, whatever, then we our thinking also becomes small. As soon as a greater responsibility is given, then our vision becomes bigger, our karma becomes better and all obviously as much as we can. So sometimes, it's good to take on more responsibility to grow yourself, whether it is at the skill or in life. If you don't take more responsibility, you'll not grow. So they say that, get out of your comfort zone. That is what they mean by getting out of your comfort zone, is that do something you've not done before. That's the only way you will grow, whether it is spiritually or this thing. So don't see duty as a burden imposed from outside. You chose the job, right? The duties will come with the job, with the role. So it is not imposed from outside. You chose it, knowing well what it takes to do the job. So duty should never be taken as burden. You should always be happy. Every day you should get up and say, oh, today I'm alive. I can work. Oh, such a wonderful day. Instead of, oh my God, again I have to go. Hello, you can leave your job anytime. Nobody is forcing. It's all in our attitude. How should we handle both? Sometimes you'll succeed, sometimes you'll fail. So the success you should handle with gratitude, not with pride. Because as soon as pride comes, your thinking will stop. You can't think properly. You'll make mistakes. You will piss off people. All these things will happen. And failure you should always take as feedback. Feedback of what? That what you did They had some shortcoming. Maybe you forgot this, maybe you forgot that, maybe you didn't inform this guy, maybe whatever. You are organizing a party of 50 people, only 30 landed up, and then you later find out, oh, I told that guy to call five, this guy to call five, but I never reminded him to call five. So only 30 people showed up. So the party is not as great as it was supposed to be. Where was the failure? Oh, I should send a reminder next time. So next party, you make sure you do that. So failure should be taken as a feedback. Now, the true excellence in your job, whatever it is, comes when you are completely absorbed in the job. And this happens to anybody in doing any job. You watch, you can go on YouTube if you have not seen before, pick up any concert of Shiv Kumar Sharma or Zakir Hussain, Pandit Chaurasiya ji, or anybody. After some time, you will see that music is full speed and it's out of the world music going on. You look at their faces. They don't care about the audience after some time. They don't even know audience is there. They are just looking at each other and just, in ecstasy of this wonderful music going on. They're completely absorbed in the action, right? A mother who's cooking food for her children, she is completely absorbed. She has to make the best food, right? Completely absorbed. Full joy also is received from that action. There is a nyaya called Ishukara Nyaya. So it comes in Bhagavad Puran, and Avadhut is telling King Janak that I have 28 gurus. I have learnt from 28 gurus. So long story short, so one of them was Ishukar. So other people that he learned from is the Bhavara, bumblebee, the pigeon, the Ajgar, all these things he says. And one of them is Ishukar Nyaya. So it's called Ishukar Nyaya. What is the thing? He says there was, Ishukar is a arrow maker. Ishu is arrow, and Ashukar is one who makes the arrow. And this is those times, right? The arrow was the missile of today, bullet or whatever. So, and it was not easy to make an arrow that will go straight and all. So it was a very focused work. So the Ishukar was making the arrow, and the king's procession with the elephant, the nagaras, and everything passed by. And somebody asked, "Did you see that procession?" He said, "What? What procession?" So can you imagine the pomp and show that the king's procession will have, and this guy didn't even notice it? That is the Ishukar Nyaya, right? You have to be focused like the Ishukar, the arrow maker. And no sincere effort is ever wasted. This is beautifully explained by Krishna. So Arjun asks Krishna in, I think, second chapter, uh, I think 40th, yeah, yeah. So Krishna is giving all the Jnana Yoga funda, and Arjun listens to everything. It is just his first lecture, first class, so he's not got everything. So he says, "You say about controlling the man as if it is easy. It is as difficult as controlling the wind." And he says, "Okay, those who have started, they say, okay, fine, I'm sincere of my effort. I will do this." And then somewhere or the other, they are not able to control their manas. There's a slip. So you say, okay, I will stop eating sweets. You stop, and then one day in a week, you just eat one sweet. So the question is, what happens to their failed attempts? Rise. So a person starts sincerely, then there is a slip, or maybe he is not disciplined enough. She is not able to control the manas enough, and some failure happens. Do their efforts get wasted, shattered like the clouds shattered by the wind? Is the question Arjun asks. And Krishna says, no. Each action becomes part of our evolution, each challenge an opportunity for deeper learning. Nothing is wasted. He gives an example of multiple janma and all that. Whatever sadhana you could do this janma, you will get a better opportunity next janma. You will get into a better yogic family. You will be born and all. I I would stick to the practical aspects of it. In this life, when you are doing karma, you failed first time. Is it all wasted? No. There's a beautiful saying: when you lose, do not lose the lesson. Think about it. When you lose, don't lose the lesson. What did I do wrong? Where did I miss? Where was the shortcoming? how could I have done it better? So no sincere effort is ever wasted. Whatever progress you make, you are that many steps closer, right? So never think that, oh, I can't do this is too much. Start one step, two step, five step, something. I just want to take a quick feedback. How is this going? I mean, I'm just talking. Can somebody by thumbs up or reaction or something is there? Can I get some reactions? How is it going so far? Or in the chat, if somebody can type, so I know that at least people are listening or not or whatever. Because this is the problem with the online thing. You never know who is listening or not, or what's the reaction. Are people bored?
We are all listening, sir. Very interesting topic.
Okay. And I think people don't have a choice, but I hope it is interesting and makes your time worth it. The artificial divide between spiritual practice and daily life dissolves when you change your mindset. Nothing is boredom, nothing is, uh, a burden, right? And you don't have to do spirituality separately. That's the beauty of it. If you do your job, whatever it is, the Nagarpalika worker who sweeps the roads, that's also a job. Somebody is sitting as CEO of a company, that is also a job. Whatever the job, somebody is cooking in a restaurant, a five-star restaurant or a dhaba, everybody has a job. You do the job as good as you can, and that itself is a satisfaction that, oh, I make the best aloo parathas. That is a satisfaction. Right? So now on the left side, we have a yajna that is happening. Big fire, somebody is pouring the anna and ghee, and the purohit is doing that. On the right side, we have food. Banana leaf. This is a typical, I think, a South Indian dish. I don't know all the exact ones, but rice and sambar and vada and all these things you can see. So this shloka, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagnau Brahmana Hutam Brahmaevatena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. This is seeing Brahman in all the actions. So this is comparing two things. On the macro level, it is talking about the ladle with which you pour the ghee. The ghee that you pour in the fire itself, and you, all are Brahman. So you are pouring with a ladle the ghee in the fire. All four are Brahman. Guna guneshu vartante. The other one is that you are eating food with your hand and putting it in the fire of digestion in your stomach. That is also offering, right? So here a yajna is happening, a fire ritual is happening, and here eating is happening. Both are the same. Where do you see Brahman in this? The food that you are eating is also, some point of time it was a life form, but life eats life. That is there. What can you do? You think that you are eating in a silver plate, the best of the sweets, and all the other guys just eating dal chawal in a steel plate or aluminum plate or just a bowl or whatever. That is the problem. You think you are great because you are eating in a silver platter on a big dining table and all. That makes you special. No, that does not make you special. Because ultimately food purpose is to give you nourishment. And just because you have a big dining table and a silver plate, you can't eat 50 kgs of food at a time. You can't eat 100 gulab jamun just because you are rich. Ultimately, it is that only. So when you start seeing that food is not my status symbol, it is for me to be healthy and be productive. When you do everything like that, every activity becomes a yajna. That feeling of the ego goes away. You are more focused on the working than the results and your status and what people will think and all that stuff. So start seeing Brahman in all the action. Every action, however small, can be transformed through the right attention attitude. That is what this shloka is saying. Even the simple activity of eating can be transformed into a spiritual activity. So, by the way, this is one of the shlok also people recite before eating. And the other one is Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritah Pranapan Samayukta Pachamyannam Chaturvidham. Which means that I, being the Vaishvanara fire, supported by Pran and Apan, well established in all life forms, all beings, not just humans, I digest 4 types of food. What is very important here is he says Pran and Apan, Pranavayu and Apanvayu. So breathing, which is taking oxygen, food is important, but breathing is even more important. And Apan, which is excretion. Every life form has this. You take and you give, right? So no life is can survive without that. Now the quality of our attention itself will start changing. And I hope that this lesson, I know that there are a lot of them, 18 to 20 sessions, and I'm just one of that. But I hope that you find some things in my session which you can start implementing, even if it is little, right? Everyday life, little bit, little bit. So what happens? The quality of our attention itself changes. What does it mean by that? Where is our attention? Oh, कल तो ऐसे हो गया था, पिछले साल तो ये हुआ था, last year he said that and all. We are regretting, or we are enjoying, or we are getting angry about things in the past, or we are worrying about the future. Oh, if I get transfer, oh, will I get the promotion, or will that happen, or something, whatever. So future anxieties and past regrets are stealing our present. So your quality of attention is not there. So to make sure that your quality of attention is in the present, don't worry about the past. What has happened has happened. Did you learn? And don't worry about the future, because the present is going to be the future. So do the right things in the present. Automatically, future will be fine. And after that, also some problem comes. Well, what could you do? Now, the true leadership becomes service rather than control. So a lot of times, the leader, it doesn't matter how big or small. Even in children's, kids are playing, and that one person is the captain of the cricket team. All of a sudden, the kid thinks, "Oh, I'm the boss of everybody now." So there is a reason why we call civil servant, right? So all the adhikaris are also supposed to serve, right? That's why they are called civil servants. And when they actually start behaving that way, any society will change for good. There are challenging relationships, and again, if you give it a pause and think how you are reacting, how are you acting, are you doing it out of understanding, or are you just reacting? For example, if you are with somebody, could be your spouse or children or whatever, and you feel angry, you have to think, why are you feeling angry? Is it just because you had a bad day at the office? Or if you also get angry, both people are getting angry, then it'll escalate. One can be patient, let the other person speak, get it out of the system, and things will be better. So when your attention is in the present rather than past, oh, last week also he was fighting with me, last month also, maybe there's a problem with the guy. Just sit down and say, what is the problem? Is there something I can help you? Maybe some personal issue or whatever. And that will automatically change the interaction. And obviously, our actions affect the larger whole, meaning like every one of our action in the society, it helps. This is another interesting one, and again, I have put a important one. And again, in this, we will have a different understanding of a very, very famous Gita shloka. Buddhi yukto jahati ubhe sukrit dushkrite tasmat yogaya yujyasva yoga karma sukoshalam. And the normal translation is karmo mein kushalta hi yoga hai. Yoga is skillfulness in action. This is also the motto of IIT Kharagpur, by the way. Yoga hai karma sukoshalam. My alma mater, I did from IIT Kharagpur, and still everybody gets it wrong. Okay? So this is incorrect. Yoga is excellence in action is not the correct translation of this, and we'll see why. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhi asiddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. This is 2 shloks before that. just 2 shlokas before that is being said. That yogastha kuru karmani, be situated in yoga. Yoga means sthit hokar karm karo. And attachment, sangam tyaktva. And siddhi asiddhi samo bhutva, success and failure be the same. Why? Samatvam yoga uchyate. Yoga is samatvam, being same, being equanimous in good and bad, up and down and all. You don't uh, get swayed by that. So if it is success, then you're so happy, or if it is failure, then you're so sad. No, these things will come. Sometimes you'll succeed, sometimes you'll not. So 2 shlokas before, this is the context. Yogastha kuru karmani, samatvam yoga uchyate. Then how can all of a sudden yoga karma su kaushalam? So what is the right translation or meaning of that? Buddhi yukto jahati ubhe sukrita dushkrita. This we saw. योग ही कर्मों में कुशलता है. Among karmas, yoga is the best. That is the right translation. So what does it mean now? How do you say that? That there is a certain mindset that we bring in when we do karma. So even how you are doing, what karma you are doing, that is all is karma. So best karma is do the yoga way. Doesn't matter what you are doing. So it is not saying if you do an excellent job, you have done yoga. But if you're all the time worried about the result, you are attached, you are worried, you are anxious, you couldn't do the job properly. Maybe you could have done it better if you're not, attached to the results. So the yogic way of engaging with samatvam, that is a karma. How you are doing it. So that is the best way of doing karma. Yoga karma su kaushlam, because yoga karmo mein kushalta hai. That becomes the easy translation. But कर्मों में योग ही कुशलता है. And this is not defining yoga. This is not a definition of yoga. What is yoga? Karma su kaushalam. That is not it. Because what is yoga? Samatvam yoga uchyate. That was the definition of yoga. So here it is not defining. It is saying therefore and because. So he's saying therefore devote yourself to karma. Tasmat yoga yujasva. Because yoga is best among karmas. Because yoga hai karma su kaushalam. That is why yoga yujasva. Engage with the mindset of yoga. So that is the correct interpretation, because otherwise you could do bad karma, right? That also you do a bad karma beautifully, perfectly you do perfect theft, bank heist. All these OTTs have this, robbing a bank. You do perfect and you don't even get caught. Never ever. Then did you do yoga, right? And if you do it with desire, or if you do a wrong karma, or if you don't do it with samatvam, that is not a yoga. Right? So this does not mean yoga is excellence in karma. It means among karma, yoga is excellent. So what is the relationship between yoga and action? Yoga is the best among karma. Okay. What makes the yogic approach the best? We are aware of our true relationship with action and its fruits. Okay. That is one important thing. So again, we said it is not that you're not aware of the results. It is that you're not perturbed by the results. You're not afraid of it, or you're not anxious about it. And when the fruits come, because they will, right? You do karma, the phal will come. They don't create a bondage. Because if you have reached a state, I mean, and I'm sure in all of you, in some actions that you do, you have perfected it so well, you know that result will come. But tension nahi hai, right? You have perfected that. So, for example, a teacher who has been teaching for say 10 years the same topic for the same class doesn't even need to look at the textbook. They will, in the sleep itself, they can go and start taking the class. They have perfected it so well. So they have no tension, right? There's no bondage. Someday, 5 people are missing in the class, or say a class of, say, for example, 50 students is there. Someday 5 are absent, someday 10 are absent, something, whatever. Teacher has no problem. He will teach you the same dedication, same ease, same comfort. Nothing is, causing the bondage. Look, hey, today so many didn't come. What is this? No problem. They will not get the attendance. They will have a problem. I will do my class. And then you maintain the highest purpose when you're doing the karma, if you do with the yogic mindset. And this is very important in today's world, because a lot of people confuse that skill and success. That is it. Spiritual advancement is not that important. That is why millionaires and billionaires are also not happy. Meaning, like inside happiness, a lot of people are finding that people told, okay, make money, and I've made money, and I spent 20 years of my life, but I'm still not happy because the relationships are not there. The something inner meaning is still missing because maybe you didn't do a good job, or maybe you were corrupt, or maybe you took shortcuts, maybe you hurt others, or whatever. You could get money, but not necessarily happiness. So now let's come to the duty, responsibility, accountability. So these are very similar words normally, but there is a difference. So duty is attached with a role, and it comes defined like a job description, right? So when you apply for a job, there will be a job description. That is the duty of the job. That and it will be well defined and is mandatory. So as a teacher, they will say, okay, this is the subject. These are the classes you'll have to teach. You'll have to minimum teach 5 or 10 classes a week. Minimum 10 classes you have to take. Each class will be 1 hour. This, that, and all whatever. That is the defined job description. That is the duty or dharma that comes with the role. So if you don't take the role, you don't have to do it. So the dharma of the role is attached to the role. What role do you take? Sthanapanne tat dharma labha. This is a very interesting one. Um, and I covered this in the book Attitude Shift also. When you take that position or role, its duties also come with it. Yeah? You can't just have the rights and power of the position. You need to do the duties as well. Now, everybody wants to be a doctor, engineer, IS officer, lawyer, or minister, or CEO, or whatever. But these positions are not just for the power and money. They come with the responsibilities of it, right, or the duties of the role. And if you are putting somebody who is not able to, then they will do injustice to that duty. So, with great power comes great responsibility. It's a very famous line from Spider-Man. It's actually a line by Voltaire. He's a French thinker. So don't just desire your chair, you should deserve it. Okay. So just because a doctor's job is very reputed, a lot of money and all, I also want to be a doctor, but I got only 2% in the NEET exam, and because of whatever reservation or whatever, you become MBBS and all, but you'll not be a good doctor anyway. So duty is that. Responsibility is the ownership of completing a task. That means a task is assigned to you. Now you are responsible for completing it. It's like a kartavya. So there's dharma, which is duty, which is attached to the role. It is not outside the role. Once you take that, then there's a kartavya. There are certain things that come along with it, and it is also how you do it. So if you become a teacher, your dharma as a teacher is to teach, but your kartavya is to teach properly. How you teach comes under the kartavya, which you bring to the table. Okay? So you go to the class, you somehow finish the 1 hour and all everything. You just read the book to the class. You did your duty. That's it. But you didn't do your kartavya. Right? So responsibility is it's response. Right? It comes from response. Can you respond to the duty given to you? Right? Response ability. That's what is responsibility. And it could be shared by team members. So in a IT company, there's some softwares to be developed and all. There is a team of 30 people. Everybody is responsible for a smaller task. So it could be shared responsibilities also. Then accountability is, you have to answer for it. Uttardayitva. If it is failed, then you will be asked, not everybody. Right? So if you're responsible, you have to complete the task. But if you're accountable, you have to make sure the task gets completed. So the Grihalakshmi, the mother, the wife, is accountable to make sure dinner is on the table. But one day she can tell her husband, oh, today I'm not feeling like cooking, you cook. So husband is responsible for getting the dinner, but wife is accountable for the dinner. Or she could say, let's order today, not feeling like we'll order something. So now husband is responsible for opening the app and ordering the pizza or the dal makhani or whatever that is required, but the wife is still accountable. If there's no food and the children start shouting, they will shout at the mother. And mother will shout at the father. I told you, didn't order it. All that stuff. So that is the duty, responsibility, accountability. So duty is kind of the framework. Responsibility is how you engage with it. And accountability or uttardayatva is the real impact of what we did. So how we did it, we have to answer back if the results are not there.